In this video, we want to take a look at decimals, fractions, and percent, and how all those are related. So if we look at a decimal, let's say like 0.14. Well, remember, this is the tenths column, and this is the hundredths column. So 0.14 can be written as a fraction, and that fraction would be 14 over 100. And it's 100 because there's two decimal places here. So 0.14 is equal to 14 over 100. And any fraction that has a denominator of 100 is really a percent. So we can say that 0.14 is equal to 14 over 100, and that is equal to 14%. So this percent really means divided by 100. And it's important to be able to work with decimals and percentage because that's often how things are calculated. Suppose you buy a $20 item. Let's say you buy a $20 item and you're going to get charged a 13% tax. So if you're going to get charged a 13% tax and you want to know what your total bill will be, well, you have to add 13% tax on $20. So we could have $20, and we know that 13% is really 0.13. And so if we multiply 20 times 0.13, then we will get the total tax. And then if we take our $20, and we add our tax, that will give us our total bill. And so we're going to utilize the decimals here, and we have 20 and 13. And so doing our multiplication of decimals now, 3 times 0 is 0, 2 times 3 is 6. And now we add a placeholder, and 1 times 0 is 0, and 1 times 2 is 2. And now we add down, and we get 0, 6, 2. And there was 2 decimals in our question, the 0.13. And because there's 2 decimal places in our question, we now need 2 decimal places in our answer. And so 13% of 20 is going to be $2.60. And so now, if we add that $2.60 to the original 20, we will get $22.60. So tax is usually calculated on a percentage. We can represent any number as a percent, decimal, or fraction. And it doesn't have to be a particularly nice number either. Let's look at a very simple fraction like 3/8. Well, let's try to write 3/8 as a percent and a decimal. Well, in order to do that, we're going to have to now do our long division. So if we do our long division and we divide 8 into 3, and remember, we have to have the decimals right in line vertically here. And so 8 does not go into 3, and now we have to look here and say how many times does 8 go into 30. So 8 goes into 30 3 times. 3 times 8 is 24, and we write that underneath. And now we subtract. And 30 minus 24 is 6, and now we bring down our 0. And now we need to know how many times 8 goes into 60. And it's going to go 7 times, and 8 times 7 is 56, and we write that result underneath here, 56, and now we subtract. And 60 minus 56 is 4. And now we bring down our 0, and now 8 goes into 40 exactly 5 times, and 5 times 8 is 40. We write that result underneath, and then we subtract, and we get 0. So 3/8 as a decimal would be 0.375. And so if 3/8 is equal to 0.375, that's also equal to 37.5%. So we can have a decimal and convert it to a fraction and then represent it as a percent. And if we need to calculate a percent, we can use what we've learned about multiplication of decimals in order to figure the percentage out, as in this tax example. And if we need to calculate or convert a fraction into a decimal, we have to do our long division like we did here. And if we then want to represent that decimal as a percent, we just simply move the decimal point over 2, and so we get 37.5, and that is a percentage. And remember, this really means 37.5 over 100. So that gives you a little refresher on percentage, fractions,